Hi, I'm Margie Holmes, psychologist, author, and educator. Today's episode of Ask Margie is about being gay. Our topic today stems from the varied discussions prompted by a controversial column discussing how to deal with gay children. I asked, what advice would you give someone about being gay? And here are some of your responses. Sonora Ocampo and Rica Espiritu. I'd say, great. How does it feel to be gay? Does it make you better or worse? How does this knowledge change anything? In answering these questions, Sonora and Rika hope that the person gets to learn more about himself or herself and what he or she believes in. Actually, Sonora and Rika, that is a wonderful way of dealing with things because as you ask questions and get the person to talk, then it gives this person a chance to make his thoughts coherent, and as he talks, things become clearer for him. So that is really a wonderful way to deal with someone who opens up to you. Now, other suggestions are just as good. From @Ian Embradura, be an inspiration to those who are still inside of their closets. @CheckIrish, stay close with old friends and find support groups if you're just coming out. Stay proud and confident and love. Bopip Espiritu, keep your heart strong but not too tough that you'd swear you'll never let love in if you should break it. Victor E. Hall, there are people out there who have something hurtful to say. Embrace and love yourself as you truly are, no matter what they say. Among the specific tweets were some really graphic ones, but they seem so sincere, so let's share them with you, okay? @Clifford Henson said, do not equate gayness with promiscuity. Being gay does not give us the license to screw even a protruding nail. It pays to be faithful. @WhoKnows88, don't have unprotected anal sex. Lalo sila ang kakalat ng HIV. Now, you were correct in the sense, who knows, 88, because unprotected sex will possibly lead to getting infected. But this depends, of course, if your partner is infected. And then it is not only whether you are gay or straight, it is not only whether you do anal sex, anything where there's an exchange of body fluids and you are not 100% sure that your partner is HIV free, anything will make you vulnerable to sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, then we have very positive messages encouraging you to celebrate your being homosexual and not just accepting it, like you'd accept mumps maybe or strep throat. Now, Jose Norman Lowe says, be yourself, live, and just who cares what the rest of humanity will say. @Señorito Pepe, come out in the open and celebrate your sexuality. The outside world loves true people. Ian Embradura says, gay, flaunt it and prove to them that being gay is not a hindrance to success. @Big Tromboner, you are no different from anyone else. Keep your head held high. You are fabulous. Now, we made the question a wee bit more complicated by asking, suppose you were a parent and wondered if your child might be gay. What would you do? Would your feelings be different if your child were male or female? Victor Hall said, when I came out to my mom, the first thing she said was, mahal kita. That was the best reassurance I could ever get. He adds, the first thing you should tell your child is that you love him or her. Then be honest about how you feel regarding the subject. I don't think that it is right to force people, in this case our children, to come out or disclose their sexuality when they are not ready yet. Jessie Gross says, if my child were gay, I will be disappointed. Para kasing may pagkakamali akong nagawa. Pero dahil anak ko siya, siguro makaka-recover naman ako ng madali, lalo na kung nakikita kong maayos naman ang kanyang kalagayan at siya ay masaya. Mainly, parents were worried about their children. For example, Anonymous says, if my sons were gay, my love or respect for them will not change. I know my acceptance and support will mean a lot to them and I will never deprive them of that. As a mother, I would want to protect them from anybody that would want to hurt them. We're in New York now, and if they were gay, I would have to rethink our plan of going home until I have done my best to prepare them mentally and emotionally for the culture of punishment to gays in the Philippines. I would want to protect them from all of the panunukso and pangungutya of a culture that feels gay men belong to parlors, comedy shows, and gay beauty pageants. Randy Dakanay, I'd also tell him the reality of bigotry, bullying, ignorance, and hatred. It is a tough world out there, but I will be on his side. The premium that the current society puts on men is the very yoke that gay men will have to carry. Tanya Garcia says, I argued with my mom when she learned I was a lesbian. But when my girlfriend and I broke up, my mom was very supportive. She told me she does not want to lose me. And she said her initial violent reaction was due to fear that I will be hurt so much. I think it's the parents' fear of the child's future suffering that caused them to try and change their gay kids to straight ones. Parents are mainly worried for their children and their being able to thrive in a homophobic society. Now, before we come to the last part of today's episode, let me share 3 insights with you. Insights that we got from all the responses you shared with us. Number 1, it seems that we are really much more open than we were before. And that is wonderful. I mean, just look at the responses that came out, the tweets that came out after that column about, the toys you should have your children play with if you don't want them to be gay. Insight number 2, remember that sometimes your messages can be mixed and that can confuse your child. For example, we have Anonymous saying, my little man, who is 6 years old, sometimes shows some effeminate qualities. I don't encourage him. I tell him the difference between a man and a woman, and the qualities of a man are these, the qualities that society dictates. However, I do not tell him being gay is wrong. But you see, it's a mixed message because you tell him being gay is not wrong, and yet you keep him from doing things that society says is not the right thing that men should do. Marco Bote says, any small insinuation from your parents that homosexuality is wrong, the child on some levels absorbs it. Tumatatak sa kanila. Third insight, while parents usually protect their kids, sometimes we have the opposite, with the kids protecting, sometimes even making excuses for their parents. And now for the last part of this episode, I would like to share 2 kids who felt very strongly about how their parents reacted, which I think is a very good insight for us to know, no? Jack David says, when I finally told my mom about it, she cried and said na ayaw niya. I do understand her initial reaction. I felt for a while that I have disappointed her. I think she feels she could have done something to prevent it from happening. It isn't something I can change, so I gave her time. I'm not sure what she feels about it now, but I think she learned to loosen up. Now, that is such a wonderful, mature response, Jack, and I see it, as I say, in many gay families, that it is the child that waits and waits for the parent to, in quote, see the light, which is baliktad, because usually it is the parents that wait and the parents that are patient because they can see that the child is still looking for his way to be more mature and to accept reality. I.C. Cervantes says, I never really told my parents that I'm bi. My mother never asked me about the possibility of my being gay until the day she died. But my cousin did share how my mom expressed her sadness concerning the possibility of my being in a relationship with the same sex. She even cried and asked what she might have done wrong. I now regret that I never got to talk to my mom about it. It's sad that I no longer have the chance to tell her that she did a great job as a mother. Thank you, IC. What you shared emphasizes how it's not just the kids worrying about how the parents react, but from your mom, you can see how parents worry about how the kids react, and that the parents are sometimes shy or scared to tell their kids what they think and what they feel. Sometimes parents will choose not to bring up anything just waiting for the child to initiate things. But please remember that even if you don't talk about things, emotions are caught, they are not taught. Even if you say nothing, from your behavior, you are already giving a message about how you feel. And I'm pretty sure that your mom caught the fact that you loved her and felt she did a great job raising you. Because, dearest Icy, in the same way that parents can feel what their kids may be thinking or feeling, it's also the same as what children feel about their parents. Love, joy, and gratitude are just as easily caught, or as Bote says, tumatatak din yun, Icy. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for your answers. I'm hoping that next week we can talk about suicide. I know the topic is quite heavy, but I've received so many private messages and emails after Cristel Tejada committed suicide that I feel we have to discuss this. After all, we aren't just fair weather friends, are we, who can only share lighthearted stuff? At least I sure hope not. So send me your questions about suicide on Facebook, tweet using the hashtag AskMargie, or send an email to askmargie@rappler.com. See you next week.